Growing concerns this morning after a vial containing a potentially deadly virus goes missing from a lab at the University of Texas at Galveston. Now, Dr. Mark Siegel is a member of the Fox News Medical Aid Team, Associate Professor of Medicine at NYU's Langone Medical Center. And Doc, good morning to you. What do we need to know about the possibility that this could be dangerous?
Well, Bill, in this case, this is called the guanarito virus, and it affects Venezuelan rats. Now, look, it doesn't even affect rats from the United States. So it is not going to do what I call jumping the species barrier and infect humans. It is not going to happen. It's very deadly in Venezuelan rats. It's not even making our rats sick. It is not going to jump to humans. Everybody watches this news and they think of Contagion, you know, the movie Contagion, it's going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. But, you know, Bill, at the same time that this news is out, the Government Accountability Office is about to issue a report saying that the security in our labs isn't what it should be in the United States, and that this stuff can happen.
That's interesting, too. So
you
know about this research facility in Galveston? Tell us about it.
Well, that research facility in Galveston is a very good lab, but the top research facilities in the United States, and I want to reassure our viewers about this, they call them level 4 biocontainment facilities. CDC has 2, and the United States Army Research Institute of Infectious Disease, US AMRID, has the biggest, 10,000 square feet. People wearing space suits, researchers, the air is filtered. They very, very rarely have a problem, and they're involved in defense against bioterrorism. So they got Ebola there, they got Marburg virus there, they got flu and they're experimenting with it there, but they're doing it very, very, very carefully. They even have a facility if a person, God forbid, gets contaminated there.
So it has a great reputation, but here's a direct question for you, Doctor. How does a vial go missing? How is that possible?
Well, Bill, this is the problem we saw with the anthrax mailings, if you recall, in 2001. I think a vial goes missing if a scientist or a helper, an aide, you know, somehow mistakes it or it disappears or they take it. I mean, I think this needs a very serious investigation. In this case, I'm not worried about the public, but it's a wake-up call that we really got to watch at. A lot of hands are touching things, you know, and that's why that's the biggest risk. The biggest risk of bioterrorism, unfortunately, is a lab accident or a lab error.
Is that so?
Because we can defend against terrorists, but it's very hard to defend against a scientist gone AWOL or somebody that slips or an accident that occurs. This virus is not going to be the one.
And you've heard of this before, the guanarito virus?
I've heard of this virus, but again, this is one of those deadly viruses in animals that we're studying to see what the difference is. What would you have to do to this virus to get it to the point where it could affect humans? In 1918, we saw something jump the species barrier, a flu virus, but it doesn't happen that often. We need to know scientifically what it would take for it to happen. You know, that's the movie Contagion. It's very, very rare.
Mark, thank you. Really appreciate your insight.
Good to see you, Bill.
Dr. Mark Siegel, live there today from Detroit, Michigan. Thank you, Doc. 6 minutes now.